Yes, people, what is going on? Listen, don't get onto us already, all right? Look at Henry straight away in the comment section. Listen, we're just making sure everything is ready to go, all right? We got a long season ahead, people, and I'm joined with my co-host Mahad. What's going on, man? McLaren Fan TV, we're back 2024. It's a brand new season, literally days away. I can't contain the excitement.
Days away. This is F1 Eve. If you're a practice session type of person, it's F1
Yes,
Eve. I don't know how I'm going to be watching practice on a Thursday. But yeah, I'm excited. We're here, man. It's been a long winter.
Let me put it out there. I'm going to tell my boss right now, ain't no work getting done tomorrow or Friday. Let's be very clear, okay? Practice is on. It will be on tomorrow. It will be on in the afternoon. Quali will be on. I can't believe qualifying time, though. What is that? Good thing is
4 p.m. on a Friday.
I'm working from home, so I don't mind that. I don't mind that.
You know what you got to do, guys? You got to block out your work diary or your uni diary and just say private appointment or something like that, so you can watch it.
Do not disturb. You know them ones. Do not disturb, guys. This is your channel, okay? McLaren fans out there, we need to get together. This season, it's a mission to get all the McLaren fans that we know in and around the world on Twitter, on YouTube, Instagram, the lot. Okay, because it's time to get talking about McLaren. All right, fans like no other. You know what I'm saying? McLaren, you've got their thing going on there. We love that. Hashtag Instella We Trust. We got our own network right here too. Big up to everybody that's commenting as well. We're going to make sure we get through the comments today because we struggled last time around. Did we not? We're going to talk briefly as well about the season ahead. We'll talk about the Bahrain Grand Prix further down the line as well. To wrap up the show. And we've also got a special guest who will be on the wing as well. So we'll get them on as soon as they can. Henry says, a travesty, the single greatest injustice faced by F1 community since Mahad Rangathan failed to reach F1.
Wait, it's not that deep that we're late.
Wow.
Come on, Henry, man.
That's how you're doing us, Henry? Is that how you're doing us?
Henry, honestly, we're late all the time, don't worry. There's times that we've been 15 minutes late. And you're still rocking with us, people.
It's happened. But big up yourself, Henry, for being on time, ready for us to make it happen. Goes on to say as well, no lectures tomorrow, so watch him practice. Unfortunately, like 9 to 17 on Friday. 9 to 17 on Friday.
9 to 5. 9 to 5.
Okay.
On Friday, that's nasty. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, it's a howler. It's a howler. These Formula One races that are at this time, I genuinely do not understand. I don't get why that is even happening. Guys, make sure you do smash a like on the video as well, and make sure you do follow us on X, Twitter at McLaren Fan TV. We're on Instagram as well. We'll try and do our best to jump on those as well, and subscribe to the channel. Listen, if you're new, do yourself a favor, get involved, subscribe to the channel, like this video so we can get this pushing and keep the subscriber count going up. What did we hit on Twitter last week? Was it 1,000?
We're 1,100 now, so it's growing from our measly following count at the beginning. So we're getting there, and then the aim is to get the YouTube there as well, guys.
When did we start the account?
On YouTube.
When did we start?
What, the Twitter account?
Yeah.
We joined March 2022.
March 2020. So literally about to have our.
It's been 2 years.
It's been 2 years, man.
We started on 0 followers, guys.
You guys are amazing.
And now we're on 377 subscribers. The aim is to get to 500 by Suzuka, guys.
Yes. That's it. No, that's it. But yes, big up everybody that's watching right now. I'm going to get through these comment section really quick. You guys have been pouring in the comments. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for being on time. PB, I'm actually on time for once. This is what we like to see. Scenes we like to see. Okay, we love to see that. Alex, the Oracle. We never do a show without Alex being around. Okay, if we can get 2 cars in the top 7 and we aren't too far from the top 2, I'm happy. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm happy on that. We're going to talk about our Bahrain expectations a bit later on the show, but that's what I'm aiming for. Maybe top 6. That would make me a little bit more calm. But yeah, listen, it's known that this isn't our type of track. When have we had a good time in Bahrain, guys?
It's not really happened. It's not really happened.
It's not that type of track. But we're going to talk about why it isn't our type of track a little bit later. But Yeah, it should be. Look, it's the start of the season. It's new beginnings.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the earlier tracks favor us.
I did watch the McLaren episode of Drive to Survive, by the way.
Oh, you finally got there, yeah?
We got there. We got there.
Should we give that a little bit? Let's give it 5 minutes.
We'll give that 5 minutes, yeah? Yeah, I mean, look, it sort of brought me back to like how the start of the season really was, isn't it? Like the way we sat there at the beginning of the season, yeah, and like this car was just not ready, and like even seeing the pressure that Zach was under was quite interesting to see, because I don't, like, for me, Zach is the big dog, right? And so everyone reports into him. Everyone's like, everyone answers to him, whereas he had somebody else above him, Paul Walsh. Right, he seemed like a serious guy. He's a serious don. I was like, okay, McLaren, I never thought McLaren were unserious, but just like they didn't know what they were doing. Do you know what I mean? Like I felt like they went through phases in like eras gone by, like where they did not feel like they knew what they were doing. This guy seems like he's the bee's knees, like, you know what I mean? He's the nuts. So to see that finally, I was like, okay, that's very interesting to see. And I love the fact that, like you said, the sponsors put it on him. I said, yo, these men are having meetings with the guy. I'm thinking, yo, that is a lot.
The whole first 30 minutes of that episode was Zach getting G-checked.
That's the thing. Like
everywhere. First, the executive chairman was like, what's going on here, bro?
Yeah, like, okay, we got rid of the drivers.
Shareholders are not happy, sponsors are not happy.
PB says the Zach meeting with the sponsors felt so cringe. I can't lie. What do you think? Do you think it did?
Yeah, when the three major sponsors decide, yo, let's all link up and let's talk about this guy. Let's talk to this guy. 3 headline sponsors, 3 individual companies. We're gonna meet in a bar in Miami, and we're gonna speak to Zach about this. That scene, it felt surreal a little bit. But I feel like obviously the episode's about McLaren and more so Lando, but I really felt it was about Zach, because this guy was under pressure. Yeah,
trust.
If you want to talk about dealing with pressure and dealing with high executives in the corporate world, that's a boss. You don't.
Yeah. No, like it's ironically, that's the title of the episode, Under Pressure. You're right. It was really on a Zach thing. I see, Zach getting G-checks was quite, as you say, surreal. It was very weird to see. And you know what? Bigger props to Andrea Stella. Do you know why? Bro, the guy looked at the situation. He said, yo, it's worse than what we thought. You know, was like, you see that scene when he's talking to him, he's like, yeah, like the redesign, it's going to take a lot more than what we first imagined. I said, yo.
Which makes you think, what the hell was Key doing?
It just, honestly,
what was Kia and Seidel doing?
What were they doing?
Do you know what they were doing? They were looking at like a post-mortem, like an autopsy. They were like, okay, this is bad.
This is bad. You know what I mean? And you know what didn't cross my mind? You know what never crossed my mind? I don't know why it never does, but the fact that these upgrades maybe did not work. Like say
I never thought about that. You know,
I never thought about it, because was it Paul?
We had so much faith.
We had too much.
Go back. We had so much faith. We just kept saying Austria. Wait, Austria.
Now,
Miami stream. Look back. We were saying Austria's coming. Don't worry about it.
On Austria,
maybe in Canada it might come. Austria was the turning point. Austria should have been included.
I can't believe Austria was not in the episode. I was like, wait, what? Like, don't get me wrong. I remember, I don't know what it is about Silverstone. I remember it so much more, whether because it was the chrome car, it was both the drivers. Oscar had a good race too. Like, I don't know whether it was because of that. It's like a brain. It's like, it's fragmented in my brain a little bit more. But to not have Austria is interesting. And Stella's saying that, we're looking to have 2 cars, hopefully by Silverstone. It was like, okay, let's get to Austria then.
Man of his word.
And he kept it a buck. Yeah, but I was, again, you got to relive those moments. And especially like hearing Hamilton say, yo, that McLaren is a rocket ship. You know that was like from where we were. Like it was so bad. The first couple of races where the Williams is passing, man. Haas is passing, man. I see the Alfa Romeo passing, man. I'm thinking, no way. We actually sat through this. We went through this as a fan base, and we just took this. Do you know what I mean? But Meanwhile, Zach's getting cooked. I didn't realize he was getting cooked. Like I did not know this.
You kind of have to understand how dire the situation was.
It was, but the thing is though,
that's a reality check right there, because we know now how dire it was. It's like Zach's job was on the line. A lot of people's job was on the line.
The thing is though, like, okay, maybe we were just crazy optimistic, delusional, full of faith, hoping that McLaren will turn it around. But we were sort of sat here at some stage, just like, do you know what? Like this year compared to last year, especially because remember last year, I think like I lost it with Danny Ricciardo. I kind of lost it with the team a little bit at some point last year. This year, the year before. Last year, I was like, I'm waiting. I'm just waiting for them to turn it around. Like I was waiting for it to come, waiting for it to happen. But it seemed like obviously when you're watching Netflix, it's trying to create that drama that, McLaren are in crisis, bruv. They are in crisis and they're going to fall apart unless Zach gets his finger out type of thing. Do you know what I mean? Because we've changed the personnel, we've changed the driver. So now what? Talk to me. And even the what's it called? When he's speaking to the staff, start of the season, he's got all the staff at HQ and he's like, look, the car looks good. I like the key word he uses is looks good. And he says, we're not ready to race for championships yet, but it's going to be a process, it's going to be a journey type of thing. I did feel like Lando at some point in the episode kind of gave me this vibe. When they have that sort of media briefing, I think that the drivers were sat at a race. I can't remember what race it was now.
No, at the table, Miami.
Correct.
I think it's Miami as well. On the comms person.
Yeah, where Oscar's there.
Norris was fuming.
And then, Norris was like, it felt to me like, okay, this guy does not want to be here. And I'm there like, yo, did he actually have a turning point where he was like, you know what, I'm trying to pack it in. He definitely thought. If that Austria upgrade didn't work, he's out of there. He'll be in a Red Bull seat right now. That's facts. That's absolute facts. But listen, we've spoken
about.
They
directed it all wrong. They directed it all wrong, guys.
So they directed it all wrong.
Episode, like they should have done the whole story, and then Austria and Silverstone's the turning point. Then go little clips here and there of all the podiums after that, and then finish the episode in Qatar. But they did it. They're dumb, man.
Well, about a turnaround, they forgot the race that turned it around. They completely ignored Oscar.
That should be the last episode. That should be the end of the episode. Oscar winning the sprint race.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on?
Alpine got 2 episodes. It's like, come on, So, like, a lot of.
I have not watched the Alpine episodes because I am not interested in mediocrity. I'm not interested.
Let me tell you something. Can I tell you what Netflix thought about this Alpine episode? Do you know how many minutes that episode was? That first one, anyway. I said, I managed to sneak in 2 episodes on the way to work and from work. Are you kidding me? I was done. I'd finished them. I was like, okay, that's how much they thought about it. It was really a load of nothing, to be honest. But listen, we could talk further on about that episode. There's a lot that was good. There was a lot that was like flat to deceive. But I'll tell you what's not going to flat to deceive. We've got a special guest in the building, people. Okay, they are ready to jump on the wing. Okay, they're ready to take the pole position and go into the front row of the grid. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Nat G Racing in the building. What's going on, my brother?
What's up? How you guys doing?
Oh, it's good to see you, man. It's good to have you back on the show. The people wanted you, man. They were waiting for you. They've been waiting for you. Do you know what I mean?
I had some issues. To deal with, and just recording on the iPhone right now. So that's what I can do.
All good, man. All good. Everyone in the chat, show some love to Nat G Racing. We're going to be talking about the season ahead, of course. First of all, Nat, let me get your thoughts on this, and of course, Mahad chip in as well. Your thoughts on preseason testing, your thoughts on where this time last year, when we were speaking to you last season, to where we are now. How are you feeling? What's your thoughts about the season ahead? How optimistic are you? How pessimistic are you? Where are you at this moment in time?
For me, it's very interesting because before preseason testing, I had us as the clear Red Bull challengers. That team to be right there and give them problems. And testing kind of put me down a little bit. And I think the team were expecting something similar. So when everyone's like now looking at Ferrari and going, oh, their car's looking really good and everything and all that, and we're having more issues than but less issues than last year, obviously. But like, missing a bit of running in D2 and whatever, that just kind of knocked me back a little bit. But right there, I think we're still much in a stronger position than we've been in many years. And so I think our expectation should be to, at least in Bahrain, to beat Mercedes and worry Ferrari and Red Bull. And if we can do that and then take that step forward that we did in the second half of last year, then I think that would be a pretty successful season. Obviously, we want some wins on the during that period, but I think to even talk about wins and stuff like that this time last year, it's a blessing to even be in that position. So yeah, I'm not getting it too ahead of myself, but I do like where we are. I do like it.
It definitely does feel a lot different from last year, that's for sure. Mahad, what do you reckon, man? I mean, this time last year, as Nat's saying, like even the thought and the prospect of even asking for a race win, it seemed like a gillion miles away.
Definitely think, if you think about last year, we were finished. I don't think people are deep in thinking really thinking deeply at how finished this situation was. I watched that episode of Jeddah and I remember Jeddah. Jeddah was a mess. Jeddah was a mess. We were going life and death with Nick de Vries. That was not a good race. To go where we were, where a lot of teams have been for many years and not made the progress that we made within a season, let alone years of progress. Let's look at Williams. Williams, they have their odd race here and there, but they've been at the back and mired at the back for how long? And they still haven't made that job that they've made in terms of being front runners, right? Or being near the front. Because I exclude Red Bull from that. Red Bull's in their own conversation, but at least challenging for podiums and top 5 finishes. They haven't made that jump in years, and we did that within a couple of months, in 6 months. Yeah. So I'm kind of grateful for where we're at the moment, and I feel like it's a luxury to be disappointed that you're not the second fastest team, or honestly conceived as the second fastest team. And Ferrari should be there. Ferrari are bloody winning race. They won the first race of these regulations. They should be there. They've won 5 races already. So it would be a travesty if they weren't in that situation. So if us being in that conversation with your Mercedes, your Ferraris, and your Aston Martins, we should be better than Aston Martin. That's my take anyway. And to be there with Mercedes and Ferrari, that's what we should be duking out with. And then when it is the tracks that we are suited to, because I heard Oscar Piastri earlier saying, look, tracks like Jeddah, tracks like, and Lando said tracks like Suzuka as well, that's not going to be a problem with us because we strengthened our strengths already in high speed corners, high tracks. Just Bahrain, we suck. That's how it is. Even if we had a car closer to Red Bull, we'd still suck. It's not our type of track. It's not the way they developed this car. So, and that's like an inherent problem with the car they haven't kind of nailed out. But let's have some perspective here. We should be grateful for where we're at.
Let's get your thoughts in the comment section as well. Let us know where you guys think, how you guys are feeling ahead of the 2024 season. Are you like Mahad? Should we be grateful? Should we be delighted to have these kind of problems, these kind of troubles, as the boys have said? Let's get into these comments as well. TSJ Awesome says, don't know whether to be optimistic, pessimistic. I feel it could go either way. Listen, we're here to put you at ease, TSJ. Okay, we're here to put you at ease. I think it's time to be positive. I think it's time to be an optimistic person for the season ahead, like looking at it long term. Too often, especially like, for example, testing, right? People looked at testing and said, the McLarens, they've not really been impressive, or they've not done anything that's like spectacular. Mercedes have got this front wing, and Red Bull have created something out of robot wars. Ferrari are like, they've got the pace. Everyone's got a little talking point here, there, and everywhere, right? But then it's like, McLaren kind of like, what have you brought to the table? Everyone's a bit like disappointed that we're not like shocking the world. And it's like, that's not our style, no? It doesn't seem
I would say that. No, we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago. In a general perspective of the media, McLaren are not respected. Exactly. They're not respected in the same regard as your Mercedes or your Ferraris. they're just assumed they must be hiding something, or they must be Mercedes are just assumed they're hiding pace or they're doing something like that because they've got a reputation previously of actually doing that and actually winning championships and stuff like that. In reality, as a McLaren fan, you have to realize we've won one race since 2012.
Facts.
So that's where we've got other issues that we need to work on, like winning bloody races and taking advantage of where we're there. And I don't know about you, Nat. I think there is some positivity there within the season that wherever we start at, that's not going to be where we finish because we've already kind of proved that when an upgrade is put on this car.
Yeah.
And Stella said this, the gradient of this upgrade improvement is going to match what happened last year.
This is it.
So when it is put on that car, and what I want to know from you, Nat, like what would you say is a good maybe first half of the season up to summer break? Where would you kind of predict McLaren to be? Because we'll probably revisit this after summer break. I don't want to do a whole season because season's long, 24 races.
Yeah.
But up to summer break, where do you think we should be placed at? And what should we be achieving, McLaren?
Yeah, it's I don't know, because like if it is true that there is some gap with Ferrari, then it's tough to just beat them in most races or even do what we did end of last year where depending on the track and most tracks we were better than the other competitors other than Red Bull. So I think if we're ahead of Mercedes and Aston and then within striking distance of Ferrari with the podiums there that are morale-wise good for the team and good for the drivers, then I think that would be a good first half of the season. And certainly anything like that would be better than what we had last year. So that's what I would go with.
Yeah, definitely. What about you, Peter?
Well, you heard my stupid take last week. I've drank some Kool-Aid since, and I've calmed down. But P2 for me is on the cards constructor-wise. Constructor-wise, I'm looking at P2 in the sense that, there's still more in the tank for us to improve on. Stella said this already, and if what he's saying to me is to be believed, which we normally do on here on this channel, is that the trajectory, as Mahad just mentioned, that the trajectory is going to be the same, then I'm actually quite, I think they even have hidden stuff from us between testing and Bahrain. I feel like Bahrain is going to be we're going to do better than I think people will realize in general. It might not be in the podium places. It might not be, top 3 or 4, whatever. But even if they did, like, say they finished both like 5th and 6th, like strong at a circuit we're not good at, that for me would make me feel like, okay, there's something else in this tank here. Because we normally finish, out of the points at this circuit. Okay, so if we're in the points and we're even, good points, then it's like, I'm like, okay, you know what? This is what's cooking. For me, P2 is on the cards. Mercedes don't fill me with that much. Mercedes were really bad last year and still finished P2, which is what I always find alarming about Ferrari, right? That said to me more about Ferrari than it said about Mercedes. Lewis is leaving, and so there's got to be a reason why he's left. He would not leave an 8th world championship at Mercedes on the table. He wouldn't leave it there. There's no way, right? So for me, I know he's kind of given that spiel of, I want to scratch that itch of being a Ferrari driver one day, just to know what it was like, what it would have felt like had I been one. But that's an alarm bell on its own from Mercedes. Ferrari, I cannot take seriously at the fact that they finished 3rd last year. Like, no one's talking about that.
Nobody talks about that. I said this from a very long time ago, and everybody keeps on telling me Aston Martin. Ferrari was a second fastest car for the majority of that season.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In patches here and there. And they failed to capitalize that. On the first half, it was just more driving error. And I know it was a difficult car to drive and so on. But the first half of the season, it was due to that or reliability or strategy. And then the second half, they kind of got their act together. But it was too late to recover to Mercedes. But in reality, if they were firing all cylinders, they would be clear second.
The thing is, lest we forget, besides the Red Bull win, who's the other team that won a race all season? It was Ferrari. So when you look at it in a sense of, all right, Red Bull's the best. Who would you think would be second best? Well, Ferrari won a race, so surely it should be them. No, they finished behind the team that changed its car in the season. Came into the game with the wrong philosophy, getting packed in by Aston Martin in Mercedes, right? They're getting packed in by Aston Martin, and then they turn up and rehash their situation. They did very well to actually rescue second place, in all honesty. But yeah, so Ferrari, I don't know. Ferrari look good at the start of every season, and I can see some of you guys as well in the comments. Big up to Billiam, who says Ferrari lost P2 because the drivers were a bit bozo, and second half was 2 DNS. Yeah, there was a bit of that. The car definitely didn't have it. Wasn't the best, but I feel like Ferrari, we've been here in this cycle. This cycle seems to repeat itself. Reliability issues.
They're always there and thereabouts. They're always there. They're always there and thereabouts.
Will always be there.
I expect that.
No doubt about it. I just feel like they got away with it last year. Ferrari got away with a lot of criticism last year. I know they got a lot of criticism the year before, but it's like we tapered down on them last year.
The year before was better.
And yet the year before was better. That's what I'm saying. So
nobody in the memory of people's minds, they believe 2023 Ferrari was better than 2022. 2022 was better than Ferrari. It was a better Ferrari.
That's
bad. It was bad when it was bad. That's why it sticks out in your mind.
That's why.
But
it does.
They were winning races at Cantor at the beginning of the season of 2022.
Yeah, no. For me, it's P2 for me. Where are you? Where's your head at, Mahad?
Oh, so for my expectations from McLaren is around maybe P3. I think maybe a little, but close enough to P2 to take a challenge later on in the season. I just need to. What I need to see for me, just personally, is when there's an opportunity to win a race, we need to bloody win the race. When the car is there and it's firing all cylinders, maybe Japan, maybe those early races there, or even later on in the season, maybe a little Austria or something like that. We need to take advantage of that situation. The second that Max Verstappen has a DNF, which is highly unlikely, but if that engine blows up or something like that and he's not in the race, we need to beat down Sergio Perez and beat down the competition to secure whatever win there is, even if it's one. Because we can get the podiums here and there and collect the points. One thing I know about Oscar and Lando, they're point collectors. They're going to collect points. I'm not bothered. They're going to finish in the top 10 somehow, some way. No matter how, if a pit stop's messed up or safety car comes out at the wrong time or something, they're going to collect the point regardless from somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's really about, would they capitalize on that situation if Max Verstappen is not leading that race and winning that race? Are they going to take advantage of it like our sides took advantage of it in Singapore? That's what I need to see. Podiums, I expect as well. But I'm happy with a P3 at this moment in time for mid-season. But I reckon, just looking at listen to the language of the drivers and the team principal, that look, where we were strong last year, we will be stronger. We've got faster in those places. When those races do come up, I expect us to smoke those races. I expect us to be better than the rest of those guys.
It's one thing. It's one thing we didn't do well last year was capitalize on a win that was available to people. You know what I mean? Like when it was available, Ferrari took
Qatar was the opportunity. People keep telling me Qatar was there. I believe Qatar was the opportunity because of that tire limit. You had to pit. Yeah. Because Max couldn't show what the capabilities of that car is, which is looking after tires and doing long ass stints. So he wasn't able to do that. He had to pit. So Qatar was the opportunity, but both drivers failed in quality of riding.
Yeah. It was
to capitalize on that.
It was there. Let's see what the commenters are saying about expectations. Don't worry, McLaren always have a low-key practice/tests. Yeah, big up Musab. You never know, man. You just never know what kind of situation we're in. Worst case scenario, we're fighting for third fastest team. That's the worst case scenario. And when the Oracle speaks, by the way, pay attention.
Yeah, it usually happens.
Pay attention. Because what's so funny with this comment, is that he will say something like this, right? And then maybe the first 3 or 4 races, it's not looking good, bruv, yeah? And then somewhere down the road, we start fighting for that top 3, fighting for third place. And then Alex will turn up in like Las Vegas and be like, remember I told you guys, we'll be fighting for third. Just before he even sees it happening. So I'm holding you to this, Alex. I think that is true though. Worst case scenario, I would say I would say, we would be finishing in the third place. Drea says, to be honest, I didn't expect to be a clear second right away. You can't count out Ferrari and Mercedes. If we fight for third at least this season overall, I'll be happy. Just on a random one, guys, Aston Martin, like, what? Are they gone from this conversation? Are they gone away from us? Or are they here?
I'll let you take that one.
I don't know, because it's just it's not like it's looking that way, but I don't know. It's still circuit dependent.
Yeah,
Bahrain's usually not great for us. It wasn't particularly great for Mercedes last year.
It's a Ferrari, Red Bull, or even Aston Martin type of circuit, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. So that's why if it was like if it was in Barcelona a few years ago when they had the old layout, where we could see everyone's that track is really good for seeing every car's strength and weakness. We can see it, and Ferrari was standing out, or any other team was standing out. Then you can go, oh, yeah, that's probably legit. But Bahrain's just a weird circuit compared to every other circuit. So it's a bit, it's hard to tell. I think it's just once we know more and more information, then we can figure it out. But obviously the target is moving, so it's hard to tell.
Yeah, as Drea says here, Aston has Lance Stroll. Even if they are close, Alonso can't do it alone. Aston could have the fastest car and they still fumble third in the constructors. Billy Am says Aston Martin could have the fastest car and come P5 with the World Constructors Championship due to having Stroll. Yeah, it's people are not fancying the Aston Martin long term.
That ain't my problem. We don't have those problems. We've got two good drivers, guys.
We got two bloody good drivers. Aston Martin
guys,
can never be counted.
Just think about this. We could be Alpine right now. And I'm seeing Alpine fans, whatever little ones out there, saying that they could do a possible recovery like how McLaren did. You are not McLaren. Stop that.
They're not
There's
McLaren.
No way. No. There is no way Alpine. Not even the vague possibility that they could do a comeback like that this season. There's no way. If they're even anywhere like 8th or 9th or 10th, they're staying there for the rest of the season. They might go a little bit to the maybe 6th or whatever. Alpine the only people that have done a recovery like how McLaren did last season was bloody McLaren in 2009. Just how rare this thing is. It's not going to happen from Alpine of all people.
Not from Alpine, definitely not. We cannot let another win slip into the car just not being there. No, we got to capitalize. That's the number one expectation for me this season is when the gap is there, when the door was left ajar, did we go in and rob the house? Did we? Do you know what I mean?
We robbed one thing from the house in the sprint ring.
Yeah.
Once Oscar sprint win is like you stole maybe, I don't know, some cutlery. You didn't take the diamonds and the jewels. You took something, but you didn't take the whole thing. You didn't come back the next day and take the whole thing.
And even then, it was just completely overshadowed by Max finishing a couple of seconds behind, winning the world championship on a Saturday.
That's the thing.
Nobody cared. Nobody cared. Champion.
Imagine, bro. Oscar's. Oh man. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I need an answer prediction-wise in terms of Constructors' Championship. McLaren finished where, Nat? Where do they finish this season? I need
a long season.
I need a bold prediction right here.
Because of that, I still have faith in P2.
Woo! Woo! I love that. That's a plan with faith. Everybody in the account, in the chat, put your predictions in as well. But
go ahead.
Second, what do you believe in second? Do you generally believe that we could basically hope on Merc and Ferrari failing in this race?
What we have, based on last season, we have a record of being able to develop, and Stella is just an asset. What a guy! But even that, we just have we have two drivers who can score points, who can just deliver consistently, which other teams don't have. We have, I think we still have those strengths, and as you've already mentioned, we're still good in a lot of different circuits, and we can trust that to be able to pick up those podiums and to be able to pick up those really good points positions, and I think we do have the drivers that if there is a situation to open up for a race win, I think we have the guys to do it. Oscar proved himself capable in taking that sprint pole over Lando, and then to go on to actually win the sprint. And that was an opportunity just given to him because Max didn't put in a good lap and Lando didn't either. And then he took that opportunity himself and did it. And Lando's been more than capable of taking in good results, and even when it's not been a win necessarily, like Imola 22 was a literal snatch and grab podium from 2 years ago, like in that car, like that's crazy. And and then he's just been able to just be very consistent. So yeah, I do genuinely believe we can get P2. Whether it will look like that very early on, maybe not, but it's a long season, 24 races, a lot can happen.
A lot can happen indeed. Mahad, what is the prediction? Constructors' Championship, where are we finishing?
I'm going to say for the majority of the season we'll be third, but I think at the end we'll be second. And my faith in this is that, do you know why I say this? I say this because one thing Andrea Stella's done is he's taken his time. He's been quite methodical about the kind of methodologies and practices that's going on within McLaren in terms of their approach to upgrades and how they make this car faster. And the way they've done this is, you know what, we're not going to rush upgrades and try to bring it in, whatever. We're going to do every single thing properly, make sure it correlates and make sure everything works and everything that we see in the wind tunnel is happening on track. And when he said that to me in testing, that all the things that we did in the wind tunnel is on the track, that means there's good correlation there. Therefore, they can put upgrades on that car, understanding that how it's going to impact on the car. So them taking time and not trying to rush upgrades, we need this upgrades for this race and so on, and just saying, look, we know we're going to make massive gains whenever we do put an upgrade because we took time and effort and took a long-standing view on how we're going to make this car faster. And also the fact that Andrea Stella said, look, we haven't even unlocked 50% of what we can do with this car, what the kind of gains that we can see in this car. And that's why we're not going to go down the Red Bull development route. We still got this route. Kind of makes me think that, look, they've got a plan here of how they're going to make this car go faster throughout the season. And as the season progresses, their weaknesses will get eliminated, their strengths will get stronger, and you'll see the car go stronger and stronger. And when we've seen it last season, the second we had a car that could even chat to Mercedes and Ferrari, we're ahead of them. We outscored them from Austria. So we already know that these guys are consistent. How many P2s in a row does Norris need? These guys were living on the podium.
Yeah.
It's just, even at the races we felt like we wasn't particularly good at, he still got a podium.
This is it.
I don't have any problem with the drivers maximizing what the machinery they got. It's more about, okay, how does this development part go? And even though I feel like there's going to be waiting periods for these upgrades, when they do come, the drivers will capitalize and we will get better. So for me, free majority of the time, then later on the season, second, because I feel like that last upgrade will probably tip us over the edge.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you guys. As I say, last week I was saying P1, but then Max Verstappen claimed the constructors himself last year, so I had to rein it in a little bit. I was going mad because I just felt like Sergio's going to have a terrible season. I mean, I think he will. I don't think he will cut the mustard, and I like Sergio, so I say that with a heavy heart, former McLaren man. So obviously I got time for Sergio and whatnot, but I feel like he won't live up to the billing throughout the course of the season, and the lack of points from his end is what would give McLaren some points our end. But if Verstappen can win the constructors on his own, sorry, Natty, I can't go with first place.
Yeah, Natty, you're moving mad.
You're
moving mad, bro.
That one's done. But I'm with Henry. Look at these people here in the comment section here. Henry saying second, TSJ saying third. I guess
I can't be mad at that.
People, the question I'll ask about this in terms of third and whatnot, who do we think is more serious this season between Mercedes and Ferrari? Just so that I can, because really, if you're fighting for third or if you're fighting for second, really, who are we competing against per se? More specifically between Ferrari and Mercedes. Does anybody trust what they're seeing so far from Mercedes or what they've seen from?
I say Ferrari. I say Ferrari.
Yeah, you think so? Yeah.
Only because Ferrari showed me that they can win in these regulations consistently. To this day, I still don't know if Mercedes understand these regulations, ground effect regulations.
Yeah, it seemed like with when I was watching testing, just at the end they were able to figure it, like the car set up just to be able to do the glory runs at the end. So, and that took them 3 days of testing. They're not going to be able to do that in every race weekend. They don't have 3 days to be able to figure out what they're going to do with their Parc Fermé setup. So they don't have an understanding of what their car looks like at the minute. And until they do, which they always seem to have some misunderstanding of what these regulations look like, then I can't take them particularly seriously to be able to consistently like bag in the points. They've got the drivers, but the car is ultimately their issue. And then Ferrari, like you said, they have been able to actually win races in these 2 years. And obviously they look like they've got the jump on us and Mercedes right now. And I probably expect them to take advantage of that, but I'd go with them.
Interesting. Yeah, very interesting. So TSJ Awesome says third. Musab says second. We got to have faith and manifest it. Third says Northfire. Big at yourself. Amon says we could get second for sure. The Oracle is saying here, if Oscar scored as many points as Lando last year after Austria, we would have been 3 points behind Ferrari. P2 should be on the cards this year.
If the car was what it was from the beginning of the season, we would easily be P2, the constructors last year. Easily. There will be a gap between us and third place. That's what I'm being deadly serious about that. But I know we've been talking about what the team's expectations are, but I want to kind of know what you expect of each driver. So now I'm going to ask you, what's your expectation on Lando Norris this season? What would you be looking from him? Obviously, he had his strongest season so far last year. But where do you think? What do you think he's going to be bringing in to the team? What kind of points? What kind of what total where he's going to be in the driver standings? And what kind of key highlight do you think he needs to be achieving?
I think for me, I think a lot of it just depends on whether he feels comfortable enough to be able to take that car to the limit and not make mistakes with it in qualifying. Because at the end of the season, that car was on the knife edge, and it seemed like whenever he was on the limit, he went over the limit and would have an oversteer moment or whatever mistake he had. So, and even in like the Abu Dhabi race, it wasn't like particularly clear who was the fastest other than the Red Bulls. And just having that qualifying place would have been the difference between a podium and a P5. So if he can sort that out, or even just like make steps towards it, then I can see a P3, a P4, assuming the two Red Bulls are 1 and 2. I can see that. I think I'm going currently P4 behind Charles and then the two Red Bulls. But that's only because I currently don't think the McLaren is currently as quick as Ferrari right now. And I think Ferrari will be able to maximize those points advantage. But yeah, I think Lando he's so consistent that you can just rely on him for points, even if we're not doing particularly well. But yeah, and of course we've always for the most part, have had a reliable car. So we can always rely on that for being able to pick up points, even if we're not doing the best.
Definitely. And do you think we should be aiming for pole positions wins?
Yeah.
Lando?
At the end of the season, I think wins by the end of the year. But I think there were missed opportunities last year for at least one pole. So, and I would be disappointed with if there wasn't a pole, whether it's from either driver. And then a win is obviously there's other factors that will contribute to that. But a pole, that's you in the car, and what you can do with that car. So, and Lando's shown he's capable of it. In Brazil, he got sprint pole, and that was up directly against Max. But yeah, that consistency in qualifying needs to be ironed out, and if it is, then I can see poles and wins.
Yeah, like when you think about the kind of polls that were put on the table last year, like I know Brazil wasn't his fault; that was the team putting them out. That's an easy poll right there, the race poll anyway.
Yeah,
and Qatar, that was a poll right there as well. So it's kind of like capitalize on those things, the stat pad a little bit, but yeah, I just feel like with Lando and Oscar, when it comes to qualifying, it's just the approaches are different. Oscar would rather drive 95% on the lap in terms of on the limit, and then Norris is going 101, 102, and that's where the mistakes creep in. So it's really about kind of just dialing it down a little bit, and you still get the pole, you'll still get whatever you need to achieve the maximum result. So it's just about reining it in. Peter, what do you think about what's the expectations for Norris?
Yeah, for Norris, definitely a race win. Well, more so, don't drop the ball when it's been handed to you. In a sense of something happens to Red Bull, because look, there are 24 races. Do I see Red Bull winning all 24 races? I mean, if I do, why are we watching this season? So I'm saying that 20 races could be won by Red Bull. That leaves 4 at least on the table, right? And I think that will be due to the fact that maybe the Red Bull has something's malfunctioned or something. Something along the lines has just not gone right. Quali was a wet quali and it cost him time, or what, yellow flag, whatever. If Norris has the opportunity to put the race to bed, he has to take it, right? The one thing that you mentioned a few years ago, Mahad, that one thing we have to give Danny Ricciardo, when the race win was on, he never let it slip. And that's what happened for him in Monza in 21. Was it 21 or 22? Yeah. So, he never let that race win slip when it was handed to him. And Lando needs to capitalize on such a thing. As well as I want to see a pole position from him. That's more so in his control. The race win can sort of be circumstantial, but the pole, I think we need one pole from Lando this year. Because if there's one thing Lando did so good last year that made us take, he went on to another level. You got to look at the points gap he had at the end of the Drivers' Championship last year. If I remember correctly, he finished above Carlos Sainz, who won a race last year. I think he was 1 point behind Charles Leclerc, and also I think 1 or 2 points behind Fernando Alonso. And I think he finished. Did he finish P5 or P6? I think he finished P6 or 7. I think it was in the drivers.
And he shouldn't even be there, considering the start he had. Them guys had a head start.
Exactly.
Crazy head start.
Considering the start that he had and where he finished, but it's got me gassed because in the Drivers' Championship, I expect him to finish P4 this season. Based on that trajectory, based on what took place last year, based on the fact when the McLaren last year was a joke when it came to from Austria onwards, a joke in a good way. It was unreal how good it was. That's for me. I'm looking at Norris and I'm thinking, do you know what? Okay, it's time. It's now time for you to go there and swing with Hamilton, swing with Charles. Because I don't think Fernando will be up there as high this year. So we can, I almost feel like I can kind of take him out a little bit. Although he'll be driving for his CV next year. You can see the guy
driving for that Mercedes seat, man.
He's driving for the Mercedes. But you know what's ironic?
Forget about Kimi. I want to be in the seat. Give me 1 year.
What's ironic when I was watching Drive to Survive is that Fernando Alonso kind of made the right decision going to Aston Martin. Lewis is looking at Alonso, the way they portrayed it. Lewis is looking at Alonso taking the risk to go to Aston Martin, and he's in a Mercedes. I'm thinking, rah, how funny the tables turn. Like at the start of last year, you're thinking this, but look how it ended. You know what I mean? You'd rather be in a Mercedes car than an Aston Martin car.
I didn't think that. I thought, how bad is it in Mercedes? What's going on behind the scenes? What is going on behind the scenes where you're like, oh, I need to jump ship. I need to leave.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible.
It's a bit scary. One thing I'll say is I want people to remember. I know you made a great point there. I want people to remember where Lando was like halfway through the season in 2021 in the driver's standard. That guy was like third.
Man.
And he's telling you now, last year's car wasn't 21 car.
Yes.
So imagine he had the whole season. He might have been a clear third. He might have been talking to Perez. He might have been beating Hamilton and Perez in the standings. If he had that car from the start. So let's not discount this guy as an absolute point machine.
He is. He had 200 points in a McLaren that probably had no points until Austria. Do you know what I mean? Like he had 200 points at the end of the season. I think Max was like on, what was he, 500 points? So like, okay, no contest.
Joke.
But the Fernando Alonso had 200 plus points over the course of the whole season. Norris kind of got these points, from like just before halfway to the end of the season. So we can't forget Saudi. We can't forget Miami. We can't forget Bahrain. We lived it. Last year, So yeah, that's what I would say for me there. Let's see what the people are saying in the comments about this or where they're expecting. 1 point behind Alonso and Leclerc would have been ahead of him if he didn't have that stupid penalty in Canada.
The most illegal penalty in Canada. I'm still angry. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. That's an injustice. That's such an injustice. That penalty will never be applied ever again. That's how much of an injustice that is.
Never. That's how much of a random penalty.
It was
never going to get applied ever again.
It's such a joke. William says 1 point behind Alonso. Oh, both Alonso and Charles, they were tired. If Norris had that car from the start, he finishes P2. There you go. You see that? He finishes P2. Do we think he would have finished ahead of Sergio? I mean, listen, it's up for debate, right? Sergio won 2 races last year, but the podiums were lacking from Sergio. That's the thing. Sergio is second by default because he's in a Red Bull. I do wonder, are Red Bull as far in terms of gap last year? Are they ahead the same or more as last year? I wonder.
I don't know yet. I need to see the car in the race.
I wonder.
They've done this whole change to their kind of like cooling system and stuff like that, and where the radiators sit. And I just pray every night. I'm a Muslim. I sit down, I make dua, and I'm like, please let these guys have heating issues and let the engine go up.
Give me
let them make it full beans. If Max is doing full beans, highest engine mode, let that system not work to cool that car down.
Yeah.
And let him be winning by 30 seconds and then he DNFs. I just need that. I need that. Honda, do something for me, please.
So go ahead, Nat.
I literally just looked at the points that Lando had up till Austria, and he had 12, and he ended up on 205.
Oh, come on. He had 12 up to Austria.
Yeah. Then he was getting more than 12 in a race, in one race.
He was getting more than 12 per race. The man finished on 200 and what you say, 205?
Yeah.
Holy smokes. 205.
Listen. So you're saying what? You're saying P4.
P4.
P4. You said P4 as well? Did you say P4 as well?
That's the P4, yeah.
I'm going P3, guys.
Woo! Who's he overtaking?
It's spicy.
Is he overtaking? Well, both Mercedes.
I don't think it was between him and Charles Leclerc. That's the title battle for me this year.
What? Not Lewis?
I don't care about Sergio Perez or Max.
No one cares.
The real title battle is for third place between Charles Leclerc and Norris.
What are you saying? No Lewis?
I just don't believe in Mercedes. Why would he leave? Why would he leave? I don't believe in him.
Well, why would he sign? Is the question. He signed like 6 months ago. Like it's not like
there's an element, not to turn this into a Hamilton podcast, but there's an element of that he was disrespected by the length of the contract. Then there's an element of you guys didn't really make progress in that second half of the season that I expected. And I've just seen Ferrari making that expectation, that progress. And also Ferrari gave me a bunch of money. And also I want to drive for Ferrari and I want to live in Italy. And I've seen them win races in this. He just wants to win races. He's looking at Carlos Sainz like, I can at least do that in that Ferrari. I can at least win a race. Carlos Sainz can win a race in the Ferrari. I can win a race.
I can't remember where I watched it, but he said, he's forgotten what it feels like to win a race. Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, because when was the last time he won a race? What are you talking about?
Was that when he got screwed over?
Somebody tweeted it. Somebody tweeted that last time Hamilton won a race was when God Save the Queen was played.
Yo.
That's a long time ago.
It's a long time ago.
A long time ago. We've got King now. King might
was it the Saudi Grand Prix? Was it the Saudi Grand Prix in
2021? One of the worst races of all time. That's in my top 5 worst races of all time.
Really? Oh wow! Why?
I'm fuming. I hate that race, man. That's everything that was wrong with that race. That was a disgrace. Like, why did you waste my time? It's just poor officiating, just stop and start. Million red flags taking ages. I know people that watch it retrospectively, but if you watched it live, that race took ages. That race took so long. It was the worst, one of the worst races ever. But yeah, my predictions P3. But if I'm being prudent, P4. But that's my expectation. Expectations high on Norris. But what about Oscar, guys? I'll go to you first, Peter. No. What's your expectation?
Oscar Piastri. He finished top 10 last year, didn't he? What a phenomenal drive last year, man. I'm sorry. Even with all the mistakes he made, even with he was a rookie last year, right? He was in a dead car at the start of the year. First season in Formula One. You have to remember, we have no rookies this year, by the way, right? There's no new drivers this season. Last year, the rookies were what? Oscar, Sargent, and Sargent a rookie last year. Yeah, he was, wasn't he? So who else was a rookie last year?
And De Vries.
Oh, De Vries, right? Now, Oscar wiped the floor. Oscar wiped the floor with these guys. Like, he wiped the floor with these guys. Now, I know one's in a Williams, one was in a AlphaTauri, right? I get all that. But the guy won a sprint race, blood. In his first year in Formula One, he won a sprint race, okay? And, when he was swinging, that Silverstone Grand Prix for me, I sat there, I said, yo, who's this guy? Who is he? Like, this kid is bloody good. He's really good. He's very, very, shrewd. He looks like somebody who's very, very, like at a party, everyone's having a laugh, everyone's doing banter, everyone's trying to steal the limelight. Oscar just sits there and watches everyone's character. And he can write a report on all of you the next day and just talk about, here's what I think about Nat, here's what I think about Mahad, here's what I think about Peter. They're these kind of, he studies. He looks like somebody who studies the game. What was he doing last year? Just copying whatever Max Verstappen did. Whatever racing lines he was taking, whatever risks he was taking, he just sat there, watched it, and then started trying to implement it himself. Yeah, he made some mistakes because naturally he's a rookie. But he was phenomenal last year. He finished in the top 10. I think he even finished P9. Yeah, so if he gets P7, the car's good as well though. P7, P6. If I could see that from Oscar and one pole, because the car's fast enough, I think one pole from him is all I expect from him this year.
When he's on it, one thing I will say, when he's on it in quali, he's on it.
He's on
it. Because one thing I always remember is Bahrain. No, not Bahrain, Jeddah. How the hell did he get in Q3? When you look at the stats, he was the slowest car in the straight by some distance. In terms of all these games were from corners. Because in the straight, he's the slowest car there. So I don't know how he even got the car into Q3 in the first place. That's all technique. That's all driver. So you could tell that, look, this guy has got the ability there, especially in quali. Let's see if he takes a step in races as well. But yeah, that's P6 for you, Peter. Nat, what's your expectation for Oscar this season?
Okay, if I'm going with Lando P4, and I don't think the points gap is going to be that big, or certainly not as big as last year. Yeah, I think P6 is possible for him. It'll be right there with one, either Russell or maybe Hamilton. He might have that sort of. He might be battling them in the point standings. So yeah, I think P6 is possible for him. And if he's even closer to Lando than we're all expecting, then P5 is even that is possible. But obviously you can't disregard guys like Carlos and Lewis and George. But if that McLaren is going to be developing good, and all the signs are they do have that understanding, then Oscar's going to be the one just racking up the points like Lando, because I trust him to be able to do that.
Definitely believe that. One thing I think that's been, I know it was an issue, the tire management in the races and the consistency of speed over when it gets to that second stint, him dropping off in pace. He's going to get that under control, I believe.
You reckon he will?
But you got to think, the guy had such a huge gap from racing, and then when he was racing, he was literally just doing first stints. When it comes to F2, the races are not that long anyway. So that was his first experience doing long Grand Prix in Formula One in brand new car on different tracks that he's never been to. And there are flashes of him having good speed. Let's say Singapore, he was rapid in Singapore the whole race.
Yeah.
He made up a lot of places. He was rapid throughout the race, even though he changed his tires. So there is a learning curve there. I do believe he's a learner, and I think for me personally, I think maybe P5. I think there's a pole there. I think there's a win there. I think there's more than 3 podiums there.
Oh my God! There's a win there.
Listen, there's a win there for him. There's a win there for Lando. They're leaving with trophies. If the car is good, they're leaving with trophies. One thing, the only question mark in this whole thing is if the car is good. If the car becomes good, I don't have worries about the drivers and what they're going to do.
Not at all. Yeah, not at all.
Oscar's a cool as a cucumber. He don't falter under any pressure whatsoever.
Nope.
So I'm not worried. When he gets the opportunity, he's going to win some. That's not a problem. Yeah, he's going to get some podiums. You have to remember the bad luck he had last year. How much times he got hit in the opening start of the races. Like he could have gained way more positions and way more points towards the end of the season after the Singapore upgrade. He just had a lot of bad luck. And that's experience as well, staying out of trouble. One thing Lando does is stay out of trouble. And he's learning about the people that he's driving around him. Lando knows everybody that he's driving around. He's been driving with these guys since we started. He doesn't know. Like Oscar doesn't know. Oscar doesn't know about Sainz. Sainz is a low-key terrorist. He doesn't know that Sainz is a low-key terrorist. That you need to stay away from this guy. You gotta be a bit further away. Lando knows that you gotta be a bit further away from this guy when you're racing Sainz. So it's those are the experiences that he's getting to know. He's getting to know the grid. He's getting to know the races. Now he's going to be used to the travel and the schedule that he's going to be training more. Look, he's going to get hench neck, hench arms. He's going to have there's going to be progression. I believe there's progression. It's not a question mark. I just believe that. Look, obviously I don't believe he's not going to be there yet against Lando because I believe Lando improves as well. That's one thing. I think people think Lando's a standing target. He's not. He's going to progress and be good as well. This guys are only 1 year apart, 1.5 years apart. Even though Lando's got a lot of experience, he's still going to only get better as long as he's driving at the front and gaining that experience. But Oscar's definitely going to gain that experience as well. And one thing about Oscar, he's a killer. He's gonna if the opportunity's there, he's going to take it.
I think so. He looks like a killer, doesn't he? He does. He looks like somebody who will hunt game, and that's it, bro. Henry says, I expect Oscar to be 2 or 3 positions behind Lando if the field spread is close. I think he still lacks race pace and consistency over a stint. I think we'll see more consistency from him. I think that's the thing. The fact that I think he's a learner, he would have taken notes last year. As you said, he was getting beat up last year. You know, you were talking about staying away from certain drivers. He was getting beat up like early doors. I remember, me and Mahad would be at like different, watching other shows and watching our drivers get hit first lap. Someone's hit the tire. Someone's done this. We had Lando Norris in 6 pit stops in Bahrain last year. We were having our hard luck, but there is a savviness to that hard luck as well, where you can navigate and and also he'll be finishing further up. He'll be starting further up the grid than having to be where he was at the start of the season. Because at the start of the season, he was there with the riffraff. Do you know what I mean? Of Formula One. These are world-class drivers, don't get me wrong. But my God, he had to sit there and go through it all. So there's a lot he's learned in the can. I think that, by the way, to add on to the expectations, like Q3's minimum, please. None of this nonsense of being in Q2.
Teams, don't be sending these guys out and thinking, we only need to do one lap. What's that like? Don't do that. I don't want to see no big brain strategy. Just when what's my saying that I've been saying all last year? If in doubt with strategy, copy Red Bull. Go look at what they're doing and do exactly what they're doing on strategy when it comes to putting the cars out during quali. I don't want to see we're gonna have to be unique here and do something, come out a bit late. Get them girls out there, get them cars out there, and let these guys get into Q3. I don't remember the last time we got into Q3 in Bahrain. So that's a great start if we get into Q3 Bahrain.
21.
That's ages ago.
Was it 21?
Yeah, and that was the last time McLaren were actually that good, because I remember Lando going from like P7 to P4, and one of the overtakes passing Charles. So, that was the only time I can remember we've been decently good at Bahrain over the last few years.
No, man. But salute to Cameron F1. Hope you're doing well, my guy. What's going on? He's seeing the gangalee together. He's thinking, what's going on over here?
No, we're gonna have Cam on.
We've got to get Killer Cam on at some point. Absolutely. Yeah, we've got to get him on at some point. Big up yourself, man. Let's just see what the people were saying regarding like the Oscar situation as well. 1 lap pace. Oscar is already exceptional. That won't be the problem. It'll be the race management, but it should get better. I think if everything is perfect, P2, P5. Woo! P2 for Norris, P5 for Oscar. Holy smokes.
Then Max Verstappen is disqualified from the championship, and then Lando Norris.
We sweep up. We just sweep up. Sweet. But I don't think things are going to pan out, that good. I do think, shout out to Henry, I do think part of that is that he needs to learn when to back out. He trusts people too much. Lando clearly has no faith in half the grid, Andrea says, bad luck seems to be McLaren's rookie problem. Lando had that too in his first season. It was mad. Oh, God. It's 5 years ago, was it the first season?
No.
Jeez,
Lando's rookie season. The bad luck was killing you.
It was a joke. It was a joke.
It was a joke.
That's just tire just comes off. I don't know what's going on. That was a joke.
Lando holding it twice in Mexico on the restarts in order to not get twice. It is a perfect example.
It's true. People say that he's not aggressive or stuff like that. He's just careful. He just doesn't. He don't trust these guys. He doesn't want to go anywhere near them when it comes to these.
Norris will swallow losing some positions in order to keep them side points. Listen, he's here to protect that car. Both drivers in top
one
6.
Thing about that car, we said this. One thing about the McLaren, and I think it's always funny, that car's made a paper mache. Any touch, even a little bit, it's a DNF.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah. Compared to the Aston, when they were making content in Bahrain and nothing.
Yeah.
Like
the Aston hit, was it Hamilton? Who hit
Hamilton?
No, the Astons hit
Stroll
each other. When they hit each other. Yeah. And then, solid as a rock, bro. Carried on. Nothing, no problem. Us guys, what little contact.
Have you seen Hamilton's front wing? It's made of titanium. Anytime Hamilton's front wing gets touched, nothing happens to it. It's good. He's all good. There's no DNF. He's fine. But let McLaren skim the side pod. It's over. DNF. Sorry, mate. Race over,
guys. Lastly, before we wrap up, smash a like, everybody, on this video. Big up to everybody that's been watching so far. We love it. We love it all. Bahrain predictions very quickly. Qualifying. Let's go to you, Nat. Qualifying for Oscar and Lando Norris. What positions are we talking here?
It's tough. Again, Bahrain's it's just not good for us, is it? But obviously Q3, anything below that, it's just a travesty. I don't care if it's Bahrain, if it's Monaco, if it's any track. Like, we have to qualify Q3. But where specifically, I'm going to go P6 Lando and P7 Oscar.
P6 Lando, P7 Oscar. Mahad, do you agree?
I'm a bit less optimistic. I was looking at P8 Lando, P9 Oscar. I feel like we're just gonna have some cars ahead of us. I don't think the race is gonna end like that. I just feel like we're just gonna basically get in there, and then The whole McLaren fan base's head's going to be on fire after quali until the race, and then everybody's going to go, "Oh, it's going to be a rubbish season." You know, how everybody overreacts in the McLaren fan base. It's going to be a bad quali night, and then it'll be a good race night.
Okay, so I'm the most optimistic then. I've gone for P5 Lando Norris, P6 Oscar Piastri in quali. I think maybe the two Ferraris and the two Red Bulls, maybe the Mercedes. I think we'll shock the Mercedes. I think they'll be there for a rude awakening. But yeah, let's see what the people are saying in the chat. Musab says Lando P5, Oscar P7. I'll take that. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
The fact that Jeddah tap against the wall. Yeah, the Jeddah tap against the wall broke the suspension. Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Yeah, the suspension made the curly whirlies. I don't know what was that about. That didn't make any sense.
Curly whirlies.
He skimmed it.
Oracle says P4, P9. Jesus, no. He says no. Wait there. P4, P7. Okay, so I'm guessing Norris P4, Oscar P7. Amon says Lando P5, Oscar P7. And Steph Flo, what's going on? Hope you're good. Says P5 Lando, P8 Oscar. TSJ Awesome says P6 and P8. Okay, in terms of the race itself, what's our predictions for the race? Nat, what we saying for the race? Where is Oscar and Lando finishing first race of the season?
Yeah, like I was looking at, I don't know, just like something from testing, looking at the degradation when Oscar was doing the laps. It has me worried because it was bad. It was bad. It was like think of Spain last year in Deg.
Yeah,
it was bad.
Yeah.
And so that has me worried because I think on race pace we can handle Aston. We're right there, probably even Mercedes. But that Deg just has me worried. So I think Lando can hold it and handle it, but maybe not Oscar. And so I think Lando will stay where I think he qualifies P6, but then Oscar will drop a place to P8. I think.
Okay. P6, P8. Mahad, what do you reckon?
I don't know, man. I try not to read in too much into the kind of testing. Yeah, I know a lot of people pay into the Deg and stuff like that, and I'm like, I don't know, because sometimes it's not true to reality. Some people are sandbagging, some people ain't. Fuel loads, all that kind of stuff. So and even if there was a Deg issue, it's not gonna impact Lando of all people.
No,
I'm gonna say P4 and P7 in the race. I think. Do you know what? If I'm being optimistic, because whenever people do predictions, and I've noticed this, is they don't take into account something happening in the race, somebody DNFing, somebody qualifying out of place, something happening, penalty, so on and so on. I think if something goes his way, you can sneak a podium, and then all the panic about McLaren kind of dies out a little bit.
Yeah.
Even though it'll be circumstantial, it'll be a circumstantial podium. It won't be from pure pace. It'll be a circumstantial podium, but it kind of calms down. Everybody's thinking, "Oh, what about McLaren?" I'm seeing people in their predictions put McLaren behind VCOP. They're putting them 6.
Yeah,
what are you talking about,
man?
I can't see these predictions anymore because everybody's like, "Oh my god, they had a bad test and so on." I want to see a strong performance. So I'm going to say P4 and P7 just to be kind of safe. But in my heart, I'm thinking maybe we could sneak a podium there.
Yeah, for me it's P4 and P5. That's what I predict. I predict Lando to get P4. I predict Oscar to get P5. And I think what will happen is at the beginning of the race, especially for Oscar, we're going to see here's a prediction. There's going to be a great recovery drive from Oscar. Because I think at the beginning, as you said, Nat, I think that tire deck could come into play for him. And we go on a different strategy with Oscar. Oscar goes on the hard tire and sits on that hard tire, for about 50 laps. And then I know this race is more like a 2-stop strategy, depending. I see Oscar playing the long game round, and he rocks up behind Lando, and Lando is like pleasantly surprised where where Lando, on the other hand, is there fighting with the drivers around him. He's tussling for that 4th place. But yeah, I see us just missing out on the podium. I think the Ferraris will be strong. I think Sergio Perez actually. I won't lie. I have a funny prediction that he might win the race on Sunday or Saturday rather. I have a feeling he'll be there. Especially no, because you know what? He's quiet this year, and this is one thing I asked about Sergio. Listen, stop talking. Just get your head down. Get on the track. The minute he started talking about title race and challenging Max dusted him. Finished.
He was talking crazy off the back of that. I was like, bro, you need to chill out. They had like Mexican officials saying, yeah, Perez can win. Miami was an embarrassment.
By the end of the season, it was like, yo, should Checo even keep his seat? That's how they were talking. Yeah. But start of the season is never. Listen, the start of the season is always like it's a lottery, isn't it? It's a bit of a lottery. Charles could do so well. He could start on pole. He could do anything. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, anything can happen at the first race of the season. Even Charles Leclerc winning it, as Benham says, Charles winning Bahrain, but I say it quietly. Masab says I'm deluded. I hear that. Listen, I understand why you think that. Yeah, but Checo won 2 races on merit last year. He won 2 races on merit.
I'm aware of that. I'm not denying him that.
He's good. He's a good driver. Musab says Lando P4, Oscar P6. We'll take that. You know what I'm saying? We will definitely take that at this rate. TSJ also says P5, P8 for the boys. I'm being delusional here, so don't take me at my word. But I can see Perez qualifying ahead of Norris. Okay. And having a stinker. So I'm saying P3 and P7.
Oracle's on my side. I said P3, P7.
There you go.
Could happen.
Drea says I kind of hate predictions, but I say P5 for Lando, P9 for Oscar, and those are the predictions for Bahrain.
Double points that's all that. That's a great weekend.
That's a great weekend if you get double points.
Oh, week track.
No, I agree. Double points is definitely a great situation for us in Bahrain. RB Ferrari McLaren podium. I dig it. I'll dig it. Definitely. Definitely. I don't care which driver it is for McLaren. Get a McLaren on that podium. That's for damn sure.
I've just seen a clip of the 2008 McLaren on the Bahrain track. Someone driving it around.
Interesting.
That's
interesting.
What? Wish I was there. This time last year, I was there. I could have seen.
You was there.
Literally same.
Come on, man.
What was I going to say? What liveries do you think we're going to pull out? Any reason why you not? Two questions, very quickly. Number one, what liveries are we going to pull out this year in terms of special liveries? Because we love a special livery, right? But number two, why do we still have the sky blue, Gulf blue on the team's like? What am I talking about? The team wear, the kit,
like the jackets and stuff.
Yeah.
What's going on there? Do you reckon we were like lastminute.com took the blue off on the livery? And yet we didn't really talk to Golf or anyone like that. I'll say, by the way, you know what I mean? Like there's blue everywhere.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it. I was going to get the big jacket, and then I thought, no, why has it got this blue, man? It's annoying me. Just make it orange and black. Why is this blue still on there? I don't know what's going on with it. I don't even know who the blue sponsor is. I'm trying to figure it out. I don't think it's
a sponsor.
I think it's just they put it in there for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they got gas because the Golf livery 2 years back or 2021 was so elite. They said, yo, we got to bring that back. We got to bring some of that back. Got excited. And then it was like, oh, yeah, we forgot. Like, this has nothing to do with us. So this year's livery, it was like, they got rid of it. But
I've seen this. This hat is the worst hat ever. Have you seen that?
Okay. So the hat, do you know what? Yeah. It's different. So I'm going to let it ride. I'm going to let it ride for a bit.
No, man. I'm sorry, man. You work with New Era. You could make the sickest hat ever if you needed to. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Best hat company working for you, and you're making that.
It's peak, isn't it? It's a little bit peak still. I ain't gonna lie.
You gotta do better, guys.
Yeah,
you gotta do better.
I did see that. But yeah. What do you think about liveries? I mean, people are saying West McLaren. It could be your time could come, Mahad. Your time could come.
They're not going to sponsor cigarette sponsors. They just need to do the same color and just put Lando and Oscar on the side of the car. That's all I care about.
Yeah, that's it. They ain't got to put the West.
He still got British American Tobacco as a sponsor. I don't know why this is not working. I can understand the Vodafone one not working properly because Vodafone doesn't sponsor McLaren anymore. But British American Tobacco still sponsor you lot.
Yeah, yeah.
So you could do something, but I don't know. Like it's a pipe.
Once that Chrome again. What are you saying now?
And do you know what? There was a thing that's kind of gone on the radar. The expansion of the Google deal with McLaren. Yeah, and there's a lot going on in that, and nobody's spoken about it. And I feel like, look, we're talking about a lot of data sharing, a lot of AI being used, exclusive technology, a lot of exclusive Google data analytics being used by the team.
Yeah.
That may advantage the team because when we talk about exclusive, we're talking about other teams can't use this stuff. And using the first stuff that Google kind of developed and using a lot of their AI tools. So that might benefit us because previously it was more of just a sponsorship thing and we did use Google Pixel phones and stuff like that to gather data. But now it's going to become a more integrated system. And I think that kind of went under the radar of McLaren fans that this is happening now. And this could be our advantage in the long term as well. So, but yeah, in terms of liveries, the Google is definitely happening. Chrome again, because that's relationships been strengthened even more.
Yeah, Google Chrome with Papaya, and West. I mean, is there anything else that there might be? Might there be something else?
They'll do something Singapore.
Yeah,
they have the OKX sponsor. They've done that the last few years, so probably expect that. And then, just hope for like a West livery. Who knows, man? If it can happen, then obviously.
I think they are going to give us. I think they're going to give us that West livery this year. Like the fans want it, man. They want it badly. We'll see what's happening with that. It'll pop in a second or two. But yeah, the Oracle says here, I don't get people saying special liveries should be rare to make them special. As long as I can recognize who's who, I don't mind seeing 24 designs this season.
Yeah, that'll be lit. Every single old school McLaren livery.
No, it would be lit.
As long as you can see the McLaren logo and you know who the drivers are, we're good to go, man.
No, this is it.
Guys, I want us to be positive. I've seen a lot of negativity since testing.
Yeah.
You guys need to chill out.
It's an interesting one, isn't it? It's an interesting one.
In Stella, we trust. The season ain't... Wheels have not touched tarmac in terms of competitive lap times. You need to relax. And this track sucks for us.
And we are the ones that are always having to bring the karma, you know what I mean? I've been telling to people, karma, relax, don't worry. It's the start.
I don't think we should make any assessments, Peter, until maybe after race 4.
Any assessments until
the car deeply until race 4.
Fair.
Until we go to a track that is McLaren's strength. After Suzuka stream, then we will assess where we can go.
Yeah. Repeating this, Lando didn't punch the wall this year.
Alhamdulillah.
The car analysis starts in Jeddah.
Yeah.
Jeddah,
even looking at what the issues are, just look at Jeddah. First.
William says, Lemon says, should have seen Ferrari fans after day 1 testing. OMG. I mean, Ferrari
very reactive fan bases, man. Ferrari and McLaren are very reactive fan bases. It's all over after 2 seconds. It's over.
Yeah. Amon says, listen, hashtag in Stella we trust. Okay? In Stella we trust.
Oh, yeah. Nat's battery died, guys.
Yeah, Nat's battery died. So that's going to be that for that situation. Hopefully that's not an omen for anything else. We don't want to see no steering wheels go black out. You know what I mean? What was what happened to Oscar last year? Was it the steering wheel? They tried to change it in Bahrain and it packed in.
And then it just said failed. I saw the thing. Oh, my God. The steering wheel, the way it just said, nah.
That episode of Drive to Survive, honestly, the trauma that come back, the trauma. I had to start doing meditation just to bring me back to normal, man. It was a lot of things. You guys do relax me, to be honest. It will be a good season. Exactly. It will be a good season, people. Listen to Drea here, okay? It will be a good season. You know.
It will be better. I guarantee you guys, it will be better than the start of last season. I can tell you that.
Lovely. We can guarantee you that. Suzuka with Red Bull Racing 0 pods. Hey, listen. We gotta wait and see, Masab. We gotta wait and see. Windows blue screen. Them ones there.
Oh,
Guys,
oh god.
Guys, we gotta love you and leave you because listen, tomorrow let me get myself ready for tomorrow for practice 1. I don't care what it is, mate. I'm gonna be all over it like a rash. I was watching 100%. The F1 show today. I was pumped, ready to go. Give me Formula 1, mate. I'm ready for it right now. People, shout out to Nat for joining us today. Absolute legend as per usual. We'll
give him a follow.
Have him on again. Make sure you follow him at NatG Racing on the Twitter. Also known as X. Mahad, we're seeing you next week.
Yeah, we'll be here, guys. Is it Tuesday or I can't remember?
I think I've checked the calendar now, but I think it is still Tuesday.
We're going to be 7 o'clock Tuesday or Wednesday, one of those days, 100%. And
I got Tuesday on the cards here.
We'll be doing every race review, guys.
Yes, we'll be doing a full-on race review from the Bahrain Grand Prix. The season is back. Let's frigging go. You know what I'm saying? All right, love y'all. This will be a good weekend. This is what I'm saying. Bring the positivity. So I was watching old races. I can't wait for practice. Listen, I was watching 2010 review, season review, because it was elite. That was an elite season. I can't lie.
Yeah, we're gonna start doing that. We're gonna start doing recordings of old. We're gonna watch old seasons, and we're gonna tell you what McLaren point of view on those seasons.
I can't wait, mate. We've got through some stuff. It's going to be hilarious. Have fun with the first race. Can't wait. See you after the race. Everybody, have a good one. Until next week. Okay? Peace.
Peace.